Hello and welcome to Post to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey, all 30 teams, soon to be 31. So we just filmed a video on the Simmons elbow, and now we're going to talk about the Haley sucker punch. Now this is, recently there's been so many hot topics, and we've made a video on pretty much all of them. And like we've said in the other ones, disclaimer: we're not saying that we're right. We're not saying that if you have a different opinion, we're not saying you're wrong. This is a complete discussion where nobody's right and nobody's wrong. We're just looking at this broadly, subjectively, and we're just discussing all aspects of it, and just interacting with you guys and to see how you guys feel. So nobody's right, nobody's wrong. This is just a discussion. Okay, so first thing we'll do is maybe take a look at the incident. All right, so after watching that, there's a lot of things that happen in about 10 seconds that are pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So we see Haley get hit from behind by Jarnkrok, and then we see Haley deliver an absolutely massive sucker punch to Jarnkrok, straight to the face in slow motion. I think there's a slow motion clip.
Yep.
And that's caused a lot of controversy over this. And like I said in the previous video, we don't discuss anything going into these videos because we want the conversation to be genuine for you guys. So I actually don't know how you feel about this. So I'm going to start off and tell you how I feel.
Good. I'm curious.
So number one, Jarnkrok did check Haley from behind. You can't do that. You got him right in the numbers. So I completely understand why Haley's pissed. If I get checked from behind, I probably want to get some revenge as well. However, regardless of the situation, I just don't think you can sucker punch someone, regardless of how much he deserved it. And I think he probably did deserve a little roughing up. But a sucker punch to a guy's face is never the right answer. Even though it was entertaining to watch and justice was served, I just don't think you can do that. The NHL doesn't want to see that, regardless of the situation. They don't want to see anyone getting, that's bad for business. That's bad press for the NHL. It might get a lot of clicks from fans, and a lot of people are going to love it. Myself included. It was exciting to watch, but that's bad press for the NHL. They don't want that in the sport. So, they're going to be looking at this, and by the time this is released, maybe something already was done. Maybe there was a fine or suspension. We don't know. So now I'll throw it over to you. How do you feel?
Well, yeah, I'm one of those guys that's going to be kind of the opposite a little bit here. First off, San Jose are facing a horrendous 6-game losing streak on the road. The score is 5-2, and Jarnkrok throws a hit like that with less than 10 minutes to go in the game. What in the hell is he thinking, throwing a hit like that? Now, if I were Haley, I would be pissed off as well. I just got cleanly hit in the numbers, face first smeared into the boards. I'm going to get up as well, and I'm going to be hot, and I'm going to go after the guy who just, checked me in a manner that could have potentially put me out of the game or potentially out for the rest of the season. So he proceeds to go after Jarnkrok. Now, at this point, Jarnkrok's probably thinking, okay, I'm going to get mine, but he should have been aware, like, hey, this guy's coming after me. Maybe I should try to protect myself a little bit.
Yeah.
But instead, he just kind of, backs up and just plays the victim, so to speak. And Haley just landed a huge blow directly to his face, knocking him down. So like you quoted it, justice has been served. But I mean, if we went back to the good old days, as a lot of people deemed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this because, hey, you didn't like the way I hit you. I'm going to get up and I'm going to punch you in the face. That's how hockey was in those days. But, so much has changed over the years, and you just can't do something like that. Was it a complete sucker punch? There's really two sides to the argument here. One, you can clearly say, okay, yeah, he went after the guy, he punched him directly in the face. But at the same time, if you had another player going after you, the least you could do is turtle. You could pull the old turtle and just kind of, go down to the ice. Protect yourself, right? Don't just stand there like a slab of meat and let a guy punch you in the face. It just blew my mind. But it all stemmed from a really, really questionable hit. 5-2. Your team's up 5-2. Less than 10 minutes in the game, and you throw a hit like that. That alone is something that, to me, I think the NHL should be looking at as well, because it was a questionable hit. If you watch the replays, it's very questionable. And Haley himself thought it was questionable because he got up and he went after Jarnkrok very deliberately and very quickly. But sadly, no, you can't just punch somebody in the face like that. You just can't do it.
It reminded me a bit of the Polak hit a couple days prior. And, it's right on the line. You're right. The NHL could be looking at Jarnkrok for a fine or a suspension or just to, review the play. And I think they should. I think you're right there. And I also think you're right when you say that, you can't lay a hit like that and then not be prepared to defend yourself.
You got to.
You can't back up like a coward like that. Now maybe I shouldn't use that word. That's maybe a little harsh, but you know what? That's kind of what it looks like. Sorry, one of the cameras died and I had to go check it. So I don't really remember exactly where I was at, but I think I was saying something about Jarnkrok not defending himself. So, when you hit someone like that, you have to be prepared to defend yourself. And he backed up right away. He tried to get away and weasel his way out of that. And I understand that obviously nobody wants to be in a fight, but you have to be prepared. You're an NHL player. You play a physical game. And if you're going to throw your body around like that, you need to be prepared to defend yourself. So while a part of me does kind of feel bad that he got sucker punched in the face, the other part of me is like, you know what, buddy, you 100% completely deserve that. And that's...
Well, I bet you he will be second guessing before he ever decides to deliver a hit like that. And it also leads me back to earlier this season when Malkin had that questionable hit on Blake Wheeler, which to me, Malkin should have been suspended for it. But what did Malkin do? The very next game when they played Winnipeg, he answered up to it. He dropped the gloves and he went with Wheeler, right? He manned up. If you do things like this, you have to be accountable for your actions. And players have amazing memories. Yeah. They don't forget things. And sadly, this is something that might carry over the next time San Jose plays Nashville. But it all started on the very questionable hit from Jarnkrok. And wouldn't it be interesting if both of them received suspensions from this incident?
That would be interesting.
Jarnkrok gets a game for the hit, and Haley gets, a game or two for the sucker punch. That would be incredible if something like that happened. I don't recall that ever happening before, where you had one incident and two players involved both receiving suspensions. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. You're right. It's all about accountability here.
You got to be accountable. And you can't lay a hit like that, first off. And secondly, what is your mindset when you're up 5-2 in a game, less than 10 minutes to go, and you lay a hit like that? It's just stupid.
Both players need to be accountable here. They both did stupid things, in my personal opinion. So maybe I'll just throw this back at you just really briefly. Does Jarnkrok get fined or suspended, and how many games? And does Haley get fined or suspended, and how many games?
Haley, I think, will definitely be suspended. They'll look at that and say, well, that's instantly an attempt to injure somebody because you're punching a guy who's not defending himself directly in the face. It's kind of the same thing if, the linesmen come in a fight and they tackle you to the ice after the fight's done, but then while you're down, you lay 2 or 3 punches into a guy while he's vulnerable. It's kind of the same scenario. It's an attempt to injure, and Haley will, I am 100% confident, be suspended for this actions. If he's not, I would be in insane shock. I would say 2 to 3 games. Now for Jarnkrok, I really didn't like that hit at all, and I really think he should be suspended 1 game for that hit. It was a blindside hit. Haley didn't even see him coming. He got him directly in the numbers, face first into the boards and glass. Haley could have been injured on that. He really could have.
Yep. All right, good analysis. My prediction is that my prediction is not the same as my wants. So my prediction is that Jarnkrok will be at the most fined, and Haley will at the most be suspended 3 games. But I'm going to predict 2 games. So that's our opinions. That's the discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys can leave your opinions down below. And feel free to do that. But if you disagree with us, like we said, that's totally fine. But be respectful and be constructive, because we're at the end of the day, we're all hockey fans. Yep. So we're not enemies. So we can have a very respectful conversation in the comments, regardless of whether we disagree or agree. So thank you guys very much for watching this video. We really appreciate it. And there's lots of other videos on the channel just like this, where we talk about certain hits and stuff, and fun videos, like we did a trivia video a couple weeks ago, and that was
a lot of fun.
I definitely recommend you go checking that out. We put a lot of work into that video, and I think people will really like it regardless of what team you cheer for. It's just one of those fun videos. We also have a giveaway coming up. I think we're going to announce the winner next week when we draw the name. But there's a video on the channel called 100 sub giveaway. You know, we're still pretty young, so go comment on that channel and we'll add you to the list of potential winners. And yeah, I think that wraps it up. Thank you for having a conversation, and we'll see you in the next video. Adios.